What is up? Thank you so much for tuning in. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Jay, and today, as you can probably tell by the title of this video, we're going to be talking about calculating your macros in order to do a lean bulk. So the idea behind lean bulking is you're wanting to maximize muscle gains without putting on too much body fat. How we're going to do this is we're going to basically be eating in a calorie surplus that is just enough to be putting on muscle mass without gaining too much fat. So before we kind of get started, I want to make it clear that I'm not a personal trainer or a dietitian. I personally have kind of been doing the whole bulking and cutting thing for maybe like almost 3 years now, kind of on and off obviously. So first things first, you need to understand what are calories and what are macros. Calories are direct energy conversion. So in order to do things such as like just daily activities and then things such as lifting in the gym, training, your body needs energy. In order to be building muscle, you need to be eating in a calorie surplus. So obviously you need more energy available than what's kind of required in order to do things every day. So in simple terms, this basically means that you need to be putting more calories into your body than you're kind of expending each day. So macronutrients are what make up your calories. Macronutrients consist of proteins, fats, carbs, and alcohol. In this video, I'm only going to be addressing the proteins, fats, and carbohydrates, seeing as that's kind of what the majority of food is made out of. Yeah, it shouldn't really be made of that much alcohol. But yeah, let's get into this video. Okay, so first things first, you're going to want to work out your maintenance calories. There are many different ways and formulas to calculate your maintenance calories. However, the easiest way is just to Google a calorie calculator. Lucky for you guys, I have put a link down in the description box. I'll make it the first link, so basically you just have to click that. It'll take you straight to the site you need to be at. So depending what type of units you're going to use, you're either going to go with the US units or the metric units. I'm going to personally use the metric units just because that's kind of what I use. I'm going to enter my age first of all. I'm 21, so I'm going to put 21 in there. I'm obviously male. I'm 187 centimeters, so I'm going to put 187 centimeters. And I'm currently weighing around 100 kilograms, so I'm going to put 100 kilograms in there. Next up, you're going to choose your activity. So basically, this is how active you are. I personally train anywhere from kind of 5 to 6 times a week, so I'm going to choose very active, and I'm going to calculate that. So as you guys can see, basically what it's going to give all the calorie requirements in order to do certain things. As you can see, it kind of suggests that I need 3,500 to maintain my weight. I know that's a little bit low, however, I'm just going to ride with it for this. And there it shows you basically kind of how much you need to be eating in order to gain weight, how much you need to be eating in order to lose weight. As you can see there, it's given us a kind of recommendation for 0.5 kgs per week and a recommendation for 1 kilogram per week. The best way to kind of do a lean bulk is you want to be looking to kind of gain about 0.5 kilograms per week, just because that's the best way to do it without putting on too much body fat. 1 kilogram per week is a little high. However, if you are kind of really wanting to put on a lot of weight really quickly, it's kind of the way to go about it. Just know that the more weight you're going to be putting on in a short period of time, kind of the higher the chance of putting on more body fat, just because of the fact that your body can only gain a certain amount of muscle mass over a certain period of time. So what you want to do is you want to take the maintenance calories that the online calculator has given you, and you want to kind of eat at that calorie intake for 2 weeks. What you're going to do is you're going to weigh yourself every single day at the same time. So basically what I do is I wake up, and first thing before I have any food or water, I go and weigh myself. So as you can see, here are my weights for the first week. And basically what I've done here is I've kind of made a little Excel sheet. So basically it worked out the total, divided it by 7 to get an average, and there's just kind of a rounded off number. Then what I did is I weighed myself again for week 2. Again, I took my weights every single morning before I'd eaten, before I drank anything, and I got a total divided by 7, and that was the average. So then what you do is you take the two averages and you subtract them from each other in order to see the difference. So basically, as you can see here, I have gained 0.37 kgs. At the moment I'm bulking, so I want to be gaining weight. So for me, that's perfect. As you can see, that gives me a 370 calorie surplus. So basically how I worked out that surplus is 0.5 kilograms of gained weight is usually equal to about 500 calorie surplus. So what I did is I took the 0.37 kilograms divided by 0.5 kilograms times by 500, and obviously that's what I got. So when you're first trying to work out your maintenance, you want this to be as close to 0 as possible. Let's say these two numbers are switched around and 98.47 is here and 98.84 is here. You've obviously lost 0.37 kilograms. So what you want to be doing is adding 370 calories to your calorie intake in order to work out your maintenance. For the sake of this video, let's say your maintenance is 4,000 calories. So here we're going to put 4,000 calories. If you're wanting to do a lean bulk, I'd suggest, so let's put a lean bulk. You want to be eating between 4,200 to 4,500 calories. And now that calorie intake is probably going to give you around 0.5 kilograms of weight each week. If you're wanting to put on more weight more rapidly, you want to be looking at about 4,800 to 5,000 calories. Now this is going to give you around 1 kilogram of weight per week. So now the pros and cons of this are, at the lower calorie intake, you're probably going to be gaining muscle a little bit slower, but you are going to be minimizing fat. So at the turbo bar calorie intake, although you may be putting on more muscle, you are running the risk of putting on more body fat. Okay, now that you have your calories that you're going to be bulking on, so whether it's going to be the 200 to 500 calorie surplus, or whether it's going to be your 800 to 1000 calorie surplus, you're going to take that number and you're going to write it down. Now, as I mentioned, calories are made up of macronutrients. As I said, we have our proteins, our fats, and our carbohydrates. 1 gram of proteins equal to 4 calories, 1 gram of carbohydrates equal to 4 calories, and 1 gram of fats equal to 9 calories. These 3 macronutrients are going to make up your total calories. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with proteins first. So as you can see, you're going to take your body weight in pounds times by 0.8 to 1.4 grams of protein. This is completely up to you. I personally use about just over 1, maybe like 1.1, but for the sake of this, we're going to go with 1 gram of protein. So as I mentioned, I'm 100 kilograms. So I'm going to take 100 kilograms times by 2.2 to get it to pounds. So 220 pounds times 1 gram of protein is going to give me 220 grams of protein. So it's going to be the optimal amount of protein I need to be eating in order to gain muscle mass. So now we're going to take that 220 grams of protein, we're going to times it by 4, because as I mentioned, 1 gram of protein is equal to 4 calories. So here we have 220 times by 4 obviously gives us 880 calories. Then we're going to move on to our fats. So what we're going to do is take our total calories. So for this, I'm going to be working with about 4,500 calories, just because that's currently what I'm eating at the moment. So you're going to take your total calories times by either 15 to 25%. So anything between that kind of range is going to give you your fats. I like to work off about 18%, but this is completely up to you. If you're someone that struggles to put on weight, I'd highly recommend going more kind of with the 15. If you're someone that puts on weight quite easily, go for the 25%. So anything between that, obviously it's a spectrum. So choose, I'm going to go with 18% as I said. So 4,500 times by 18% is going to give me 810 calories. I'm then going to take those 810 calories divided by 9, because as I mentioned, there are 9 calories and 1 gram of fat, and that's going to give me 90 grams of fat. So that's how much fat I need to be eating each day. So your fats are mainly just going to kind of control your hormonal balances and your hormonal kind of responses. Then we're going to move on to our carbohydrates. So now for carbohydrates, we're going to take the total calorie intake minus the calories from proteins minus the calories of fats. So your carbohydrates are going to make up the rest of your calories. As I said, 4,500 calories minus the 880 from our proteins minus the 810 from our fats, and that's going to give us a total of 2,810 calories left for carbohydrates. Then we're going to take that 2,810 calories divided by 4, because as I mentioned earlier, 1 gram of carbohydrates equals to 4 calories, and that's going to give me about 703 grams of carbohydrates. So as you can see, we now have our total macronutrients. So for proteins, we have 220 grams of protein, fats we have 90 grams of fats, and carbohydrates we have 703. Now I want to make this clear, you don't have to be 100% accurate every single day. It doesn't matter if you're a little bit over or under. I kind of like to go on a plus minus rule of 10 grams for proteins, 5 grams for fats, and 10 grams for carbohydrates. So whether you're a little bit over, a little bit under, it's really not going to make a difference. Your body works on weekly calorie intake. So even if you mess up on one day and you go completely over, as long as you kind of gradually, let's say you go 500 calories over on one day, over the next 5 days you maybe go 100 calories under. That's going to kind of give you the same calorie intake over the week on an average. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my calorie counting app, and I'm going to input all these numbers as my goal. So 220 grams for proteins, 90 grams for fats, and 703 for carbohydrates. This is obviously going to depend on what you get from these kind of calculations, but these are going to be your targets. And then obviously for me, my kind of calorie goal is going to be 4,500 calories, as I mentioned. So now that you've calculated your daily calorie intake and the macronutrients breakdown of those calories, you basically just want to be eating at that calorie intake every single day. So the best way to do this is to download a calorie counting app. I personally use an app called Fat Secret. However, a very popular one is MyFitnessPal. The app has a food diary function. So basically what you're going to to do is you're going to track the food that you eat every single day, and the app will tell you how many calories each food is, how many proteins, carbs and fats it consists of, and that way you're going to be able to accurately track how many calories you're taking in. I know the app also has a function that lets you log your weights, so that'll also help you kind of look at the calorie intake versus the weights. It's important to still be weighing yourself even when you are kind of in your bulking mode. I personally weigh myself every single day, however I know this can be a bit much, so I'd kind of recommend weighing yourself at least 3 to 4 times a week at a minimum. So much like the beginning, you want to be taking those weights and getting a weekly average. Then you want to compare the average weight of each week and look at kind of a trend. Are you putting weight on consistently? Is your weight slowing down? Are you putting on weight too quickly? And then you want to make adjustments. I'd personally recommend looking at a period of maybe 3 to 4 weeks. I personally use 4 weeks just because it's a month. It works well for me. If you're putting on weight too quickly, you obviously want to be decreasing the calories. If you aren't putting on weight as fast as you'd hope to, you need to obviously increase that. I really hope you guys can take something away from this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, maybe learned something new, and hopefully you guys can apply this method to effectively gain muscle, put on as much size while also minimizing your fat. If you guys enjoyed this video, if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. If you aren't already subscribed and you want to see more content like this, please subscribe and leave a comment down below. Thank you so much again for watching. I wish you the best of luck with your bulk, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care. I'm out.